Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Uldawa Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston. We are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And as always, we are very proud to represent the University of Tennessee on the Believe Entertainment Network. And Tennessee coming off a great win yesterday. I think my reaction could be summed up in one statement. They did what they were supposed to do. How nice is it to be able to say that compared to the Butch Jones era or the Jeremy Pruitt era or the Derek Dooley era? How nice is it to be able to say they did what they were supposed to do? So that's my reaction. I'm going to get Rustin's reaction, then we're going to go to the comments, and I'll give some other thoughts as well. But Rustin, what were your major thoughts and takeaways from yesterday?
Yeah, not much different than what you said. They just handled business. They did what they should. Offense did a good job for the most part. Like we expected, the running backs dominated. The three-headed monster at running back had 29 carries for 191 yards. And 4 touchdowns. You can't ask for much more out of that group. I saw some people criticizing the defense. The starting defense only gave up 10 points. The backups and the third stringers gave up the other 14. And, everybody also needs to keep in mind our current second string defensive tackles are actually the third string because David Hobbs and Jackson Moy aren't out there right now. And our starting corners are actually the second string. So the backups are actually the third string. You saw that kind of flesh out late in the fourth quarter. We still had several starters in on defense in the secondary because we just don't have many other guys to put out there. And so, there's some depth issues because of injury right now. But if our starters had played the whole game, they probably wouldn't have scored more than 10. So, I think overall it was a good day.
Well, the main thing that, we said on Thursday night that we hoped we saw this weekend was we hoped Joey would play the first half, Mark would play the third quarter, and George McIntyre play the fourth quarter. We did not see that. McIntyre didn't get in the game, which quite honestly, I think that was unfortunate because he only gets 4 appearances and still be able to preserve his red shirt. So you might as well get all 4 of them in there at some point. Well, if he didn't get in against UAB, that's not a good sign for the rest of the season. I mean, there's maybe 1, maybe 2 games left this year that he could get in, and that was an opportunity yesterday, and we missed it. I agree with you. The running backs dominated the game. One thing we said was we hope there would be no injuries. And it seems like for the most part, there weren't any new injuries yesterday. So that's always good. But one cool thing was I saw 2 different occasions. We ran a stretch zone.
Mm-hmm.
And it immediately reminded me of Thursday night when you were talking about how that's Jim Chaney's influence on the offense. And we're seeing that now.
Yep.
And how can you not be excited as a Vols fan to know that you've got Josh Heupel, Jim Chaney, Joey Halsley, Seth Littrell, and Landry Jones all working together to develop your offense. That's why we're seeing things still that we haven't yet seen this year. Yesterday, they ran the option to Joey's left, and he pitched it with his left hand and ended up being a touchdown. And that was a beautiful play. The pitch with his off hand was perfect. I mean, right on the money. That's the first time we've seen them run that this year. So those guys, I mean, they have to be having so much fun every day in the film room, just saying, okay, what can we do next? What can we do now? And that makes me excited for this upcoming weekend when they go to Mississippi State, because who knows what they're going to pull out of their hat for that game. I mean, we're going to see.
They also ran 2 plays that were clearly isolation plays for the tight ends. One of them was to Kitzelman, one of them was to Van Doorslayer. But it was two pass plays we haven't seen yet, which is also that's Landry Jones and Jim Chaney.
Absolutely. Well, let's get the folks' reactions in the comments. Slim, welcome, buddy. Good to have you with us. He said, good old Rocky Top. Absolutely. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. Great to have you. He said, good evening. Well, our guys come down here to see us in the SIP this week. Going to be a good one, I believe. Yep. Rhonda said, good evening, bros. We're glad you're with us, Rhonda. That's a channel member. She said, it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Absolutely. Let's see. Slim said, right now, the Vols are just a 9-point favorite this weekend. Yeah, that's kind of surprising, actually. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, hello, Evan, Ruston, chat family. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. Don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. Absolutely. Totally agree. Let's see. Mississippi Vol said, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I think that's excellent advice. We hit 1,980 subscribers today, so we're 20 subscribers away from 2,000, so we're so close. Let's see. Mr. Osborne, welcome, buddy. He said, good evening, Vol Bros and chat members. Overall, another solid victory for the Big Orange. Now it's time to head down to Starkville and hammer Mississippi State. Jump on them early and don't let up. Amen, brother. He said, go Big Orange. Absolutely. Clay, great to have you with us, buddy. Clay and Mr. Osborne both are Watch Party fan members. We appreciate them. We just had our monthly members-only Watch Party fan member live stream. So we got to talk with them. And Audrey, is a good time. We're glad we get to do that. Let's see. Let's see. Nolan's with us. Nolan is a channel member. Welcome, buddy. Stingray is here. He said hello of all fans. Real Puppy Dog's here. Sean, channel member, is here. Good to have you, man. Let's see. SW, welcome. Glad you're with us. He's a gentleman. Hope you're well. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Mississippi Vol said, heck, I remember in 2010, Derek Dooley's first year, it took us 2 overtimes to beat UAB at home, no less. Yeah, so it's definitely progress, right? Nolan said, besides one time with Joe Milton at quarterback, Heupel has always handled business against lesser opponents that aren't SEC teams. You're exactly right. Let's see. Carl just did something. I don't even know. What'd you do, Carl? This is cool. It's gifted 5 the Vol Bros memberships. How about that? So I guess he's gifting 5 people are members.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Look at you go, Carl. You're discovering new ways, man. This is awesome. That is so cool. Thank you, Carl, very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. I'm going back up to the comments here. Nolan said, or here I got Nolan's. David said our secondary depth is a concern if we have more injuries. Agreed. Carl said, no, Evan, they were supposed to cover. He said, watching Merck take a knee was a dagger. No, that's pretty funny. I'm sorry, Carl. I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. John said, I wasn't very impressed with Merck and the young defensive players, but it was UAB. So I can't take much out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I don't think anybody was super impressed with how Merck played yesterday. Real Puppy Dog said, I'm a little worried about defense next week if we don't get healthy. We definitely need some dudes to come back. That's for sure. Rhonda said, with the injuries we have and to play the way we have, I'm happy for the most part. Just got to continue to get better. Agreed. Let's see. Doug, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, hey, Vol Nation, go Big Orange. Mississippi Vol said, sure would be nice to get Jackson Moy back this week. I agree.
Yeah.
David said, Merklinger looked like a backup and held the ball too long. Yeah, agreed. Elijah, what's up, big guy? There's a channel member, Watch Party fam. He said, what's up, bros? Good to have you. Rhonda said, if you haven't listened to Joey's interview after the game, you should. So happy he's a Vol. Absolutely. It's hard not to like the guy, right? It's hard not to like him. Let's see. Oriole Puppy Dog said, Joey fumbled or dropped a ball again. Is it bad snaps or what? I never saw the view from behind on that snap that he dropped. Thankfully, he did fall on the ball, which was good.
I thought it was a good snap.
It
just hit him in the hands, and he didn't see it in.
Mississippi Vol said that option play was a thing of beauty, Evan. He said, I've always been a big fan of the option. I would love to see it just a little more. Maybe not every game, but I'd like to see them pull it out sometime. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sean said, it's honestly astonishing how efficient Joey has been with coming in after spring. I'm surprised he's not drinking from a fire hose. I love it. Yeah, man, totally 100% agree. Nolan said, Merck is a decent quarterback, but McIntyre is the future. Yeah, I think that's fair. Brent, welcome, buddy. Good to have you, Brent. He said Van Dorselayer is going to be so good. Absolutely. Totally agree. God's Guns and Ammo, welcome, buddy. He said, what's up? Good to have you, man. David, I echo your sentiments totally, dude. He said, I'm glad it's a 4:15 p.m. kickoff for Mississippi State. I agree. I totally agree. That is to our benefit, in my opinion. Let's see. Jonathan said, does Sunbelt Billy make it to the game against us? I think he does. Sam, welcome, Bears.
Let's see what his buyout currently sits at. That will determine that answer.
Sam's channel member, he said, I told you, Ruston, take the first half spread. Easy money. Nolan said, Carl isn't depressed today. He's handing out free memberships.
I don't know. His buyout's all the way down to $21 million. Now, Florida's broke, so that could hurt that. But $21 million's not a huge amount. I don't know. He may not make it to our game.
Jared, so what's going on with David Sanders? Great question, man. We were just talking about this on the Watch Party fam live stream. It's bizarre. Whenever the coaching staff says it is a unique injury and that's all they'll say about it, something's up. Like something weird is going on. Folks on the live stream are saying that they're hearing that it's nerve pain. I mean, you hope the guy's okay, but it's just a weird way to describe it, saying it's a unique injury and that's all they'll say about it. So I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't know when we're going to see him. I'm like, who knows at this point?
Some kind of nerve damage in his shoulder, and that can go a wide range of directions. He could wake up tomorrow and feel great and not have another issue all year. It could bother him for another 3 weeks. With nerves, you never know what it's going to
be. Jeff, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, I was glad to see Syracuse spank Clemson. Agreed. He said, if they can pull a few more, that makes Tennessee's spanking look even better, for sure. David said, Boo Carter went off yesterday. He filled up that stat line. He did. Unfortunately, he also muffed a punt that gave them a free 3 points, basically. But overall, he did play well. Carl said, I thought the seconds played with no intensity. Actually saw like 4 defenders forming a circle and let the reception on the third down happen. Yeah, they were certainly playing very soft coverage, just trying to keep them in front, that kind of thing. Oriole Puppy Dog said, I love the shovel pass. Yeah, man, that was cool, wasn't it? So I think that was the first time this year we've seen a shovel pass.
Yep. And last year and the year before, they run it a lot to the tight ends, or the H-backs, whatever you want to call them. I like it a lot to Star Thomas. That makes a whole lot more sense.
Star's fun to watch with the ball in his hands. Dwan Morris is fun to watch with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, he's going to be a star.
Dude can make some folks miss. SW said, do you think they kept Merklinger in there to evaluate whether he's the long-term guy? Yes, I think you're exactly right. I think that here's my opinion. If Merck had come down the field and scored to start the fourth quarter, if he had come down the field and scored on that drive, I think he would have come out of the game.
Yeah.
But instead, we, in the drive on a third down play that didn't convert. And I think they put him back out there just to try to build his confidence. So And I think that's what Heupel was telling Trent Dilfer after the game. He sat there and talked to him for a minute, and I think he was, talking about that deep third, it was either second or third down pass. Now I think it was second down the right sideline. Side note, how hilarious was it that Trent Dilfer, before the opening kickoff, is sitting there videoing the crowd and then sitting there like texting it to somebody on the sideline right before the kickoff.
Well, hold on. That's actually, I'm not a Trent Dilfer fan. If any of you were a high school coach in the state of Tennessee when Trent Dilfer was at Lipscomb, you know that he was the most hated coach in the state of Tennessee. That was a mutual understanding among every coach. But he does that before every game now, and he texts that picture to his grandson. And his daughter, who was about to give birth to his second grandchild, was in the hospital, and he was showing her the atmosphere in Neyland because normally they go to every game. So
that's cool.
He always takes a picture pregame and sends it to his grandson so he can see things from field level. But the video was actually for his daughter, who was in the hospital delivering a baby.
That's very cool. I think Dilfer may have experienced the sometimes frustrating thing known as Neyland Stadium Wi-Fi yesterday. Let's see. Matt's with us. Matt, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, "What's up, bros? It's good to have you, man." Carl said, "Mondays start the depressed days, not Sundays." That's why he's handing out memberships. Nolan said, "Syracuse beating Clemson is making our win look better and better. To be honest, it's going to be a tough team this year. We caught them early before they could gel." That's a fair assessment. Let's see. Sam, welcome, buddy. He said, "Should we expect all development to occur in practice and perfection once player hits the field? Joey has a lot of on-the-field experience." Totally agree. Sam said, "Jake isn't the long-term guy. He's lost out there. Looks like Nico 2.0 timing-wise." Maybe. David said, "Peyton Lewis finally got his get-right game." John said, "I'm starting to worry about Boo returning punts. He's electric with the ball, but fumbles may cost us a game at some point." Yeah.
I think we need to hold off on making statements about Merck. Let me just remind everyone, before this season started, there were massive question marks around Joey Aguilar. And Joey was the coaching staff's 5th choice. They went after multiple other guys at that position before settling on Joey. And there was a moment in the preseason when he and Merck were fighting 50-50 for first team reps. So let's not lose sight of the fact that we have Josh Heupel, Joey Halzle, Landry Jones, and Seth Littrell, and now Jim Chaney apparently in that quarterback room. And with that group of offensive minds in there and their ability to develop players, honestly, we could take any quarterback in America and make them very effective. So, Merck may need another year, but he's going to be okay. He's got all the network around him he needs to be successful.
Matt said Sanders with the next shoulder stinger. Sam said it has been reported that David Sanders has a pinched nerve in his shoulder. Todd said, "I feel like I heard it wrapped around to his pectoral area." So Ricky Gibson is the person who they think might have a torn pectoral. Well, they know, they just ain't say anything. But it's been reported that the rumor is that Ricky Gibson has a torn pectoral muscle. But maybe it's affecting David Sanders too. Austin, welcome, buddy. Here's channel member. He said, "What's up, y'all? Good to have you, man." David said, "I said after we played Syracuse that they were an 8-4 team, and I think that is very possible." Oh, no doubt. Slim said he'd rather play against Billy Napier instead of a fired up interim.
They're bad either way. It ain't gonna matter. That Florida team is just terrible.
Nolan said with all of our injuries, he's afraid Mississippi State might expose our secondary. I mean, the secondary held up okay against Georgia. So if they can hold up against Georgia, then they're going to be fine against Mississippi State.
I'll break this down more on Thursday, but let's not get too overwhelmed with Mississippi State yet. They've played 3 terrible teams and 1 average team, and they're giving up over 150 yards rushing a game against 3 terrible teams and 1 average team. And the average team ran the ball for 270 yards against them. So none of those teams have Deshaun Bishop, Star Thomas, or Peyton Lewis in their backfield. Just like there were moments in the Georgia game when we looked like we were getting manhandled a little bit because we hadn't really seen anybody that looked like Georgia yet, that same thing's going to happen Saturday. Mississippi State hasn't seen anybody that looks like Tennessee yet. And there's going to be some moments early where we're just going to just straight mug them. So I wouldn't put too much credence on what they can do yet. That front 5 for Mississippi State, who are all relatively new, they haven't had to block Joshua Josephs, Caleb Herring, Bryson Eason, Dominic Bailey, Tyree West. They haven't seen anything like those guys. So it's a little different throwing when you've got those 4 animals breathing down your neck. They haven't seen anything at all like that.
Carl, you're the man, dude. Carl just gifted 5 memberships to people. It was honorary fan memberships. You're the man, Carl. Thank you so much. Those 5 people, I'll be sending you an invitation to our message board on our website. Carl, that's awesome, dude.
Like I said, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. Carl, I might be sending. We'll work something out for you, bud. That's pretty cool. Jonathan said at this point, if Sanders doesn't play in the next game or 2, they might redshirt him. Yeah, I think that's fair. Austin said ready for the Vols to silence some cowbells. Absolutely. Ricky said, and he's obviously not the guy. I think he's talking about Merklinger. Mm-hmm. Carl said Merk was 3 for 8 for like 47 yards. Matt said, hate it for Merk. Guess he just needs to chill out a little. Let's see. David said the player that tried to hurt Max Gilbert should be suspended. That was a Bush League move.
Amen. But let me just key you in on Trent Dilfer. Nothing's going to happen to that kid. My favorite part was post-game when Trent Dilfer said publicly, we don't condone that in this program. Yeah, you do. You recruited a whole roster full of dudes like that, and you know you do. Like, don't stand on a pulpit and lie to everybody. You've been the same person at every level you've coached. It has never changed. You've constantly recruited kids like that. Don't lie to the public.
SW said probably says a lot that Boo was in for the entire game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So somebody asked, Ron had asked, who should we cheer for, Alabama or Georgia Saturday? Thunderstorm that cancels the game? I don't know. Brent said whoever's playing Alabama. Matt said Gibson is out for the season. Has that been confirmed yet? I mean, I'm sure it's probably going to be confirmed if it hadn't yet. But
I haven't seen it, but hang on.
Nolan said with Jim Chaney in our quarterback room, we won't have to worry about having a skinny quarterback again. Cheeseburgers for everyone. Oreo Puppy Dog said Florida's defense is good. Sam said that no one could get through to Nico. So maybe there's some question if they'll be able to get through with Merklinger. I think Merklinger is probably way more coachable than Nico.
I was about to say there's 2 major differences there, and maybe I should have started with this caveat. The person who is being coached has to want to be coached. So if you are unwilling to listen and unwilling to be coached, then it doesn't matter who's in the room. But Jake Merklinger is willing to be coached, whereas the other individual you just mentioned was not.
Jonathan said, I would say no team that Mississippi State has played has anyone like Joey in our wide receivers either.
Not even remotely close. The best team they've played so far is a below-average Arizona State team that is drastically underachieving. And the next best team after that was Northern Illinois.
Matt said he's going to be in Starkville, Section 7, Row 4. That's what I'm talking about, man. I hope you have a good time. Let's see. David said, I heard Auburn had top 5 O-line in the country this year. Well, they've already given up 10 sacks. Volcano said Oklahoma versus Tennessee might be ABC night game. That'd be cool. Rebel Juice said, I know it's not until November, but Oklahoma worries me. They're ranked 7. Seems like our biggest threat left. Hope I'm wrong.
I'll be honest, I was not overly impressed with them this weekend. That's a very average Auburn team that took them to the brink. And I did not see – and I've watched 2 full games now for Oklahoma, and I've yet to see this team that everybody's raving about. They're pretty good, but I haven't seen a running back that can hurt anybody. They resorted to pretty much throwing on every down against Auburn and still only scored, 22, 23 points. I was not impressed.
Deborah said, good evening, bros. How about that Andre Turrentine interception? Yeah, that was a fantastic play. Fantastic. He didn't go through the receiver, but essentially he went through the receiver to make that play. It was very, very nice.
Yeah. Really good hands, really good read, great break. Exactly the way he's taught to do it.
Bender Strings, welcome. That's been a question several people have asked. Do we see Sanders at all? Who knows at this point? I hope for the sake of that kid, I hope we do. But, I don't know at this point.
Brent, bare minimum, he can play the last 4 games of the year and still redshirt. So,
yeah,
bare minimum, we're going to see him for that. But,
yeah,
we'll see.
Brent said, by the way, Brent is a Vol celebrity. For anybody who watched any Tennessee baseball games this year, if you saw a cowboy hat right in front of the camera, that was Brent. Brent was also Brent. Didn't you get to? You can tell me in the comments. Didn't you get to pose in some Vol Shop photos a year or 2 ago when they were doing like a retro collection of like Johnny Major stuff? Didn't you get to do that? Let me know in the comments, man. I think that was you. I think I'm right about that. He said, guessing it was a coaching decision to have Boo fair catch the first few punts, likely to pad offensive stats. That's a good question. I don't know. There was one of them in particular that I thought, he called that kind of early. But then another one, I was like, I'm glad he called a fair catch because he would have been blown up if he. But there was one that seemed like he did signal pretty early on. So it was kind of like he had been told to do it. Ricky said in the Bama-Georgia game, he's going to cheer for Bama because Ricky is very anti-Georgia. Ricky is not a fan of the Bulldogs at all. That doesn't surprise me there. Matt made a very good point. He said that he doesn't think we need a redshirt Sanders. He's not a 4-year guy anyway. He's going to be off the NFL early. That's a great point. David said Oklahoma has a hurt offensive line and it's all Mateer. Brandon, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, got the job done. Go Vols. Absolutely. That's exactly right. Let's see. Yep, I was right. So Brent said it was the Johnny Majors Classic, our home and home with Pittsburgh. I thought that's what it was. Yeah, that's so cool. That's really cool. Let's see here. All right, so Ruston, second thing we always do, let's do play of the game first, because I have a special one for player of the game.
Okay.
So let's do play of the game first, and then we'll do play of the game, player. Everybody in the comments, let us know what was your play of the game yesterday.
I don't remember the dude's name, but the UAB wide receiver that caught a pass laying flat on his back. That was my play of the game. That was one of the – I'm dead serious. That was one of the best catches I've seen in 10 years. I don't care which team he was on. That was one of the most phenomenal catches I've ever witnessed. So I'm going to give him props for it.
That's fair, I guess. It was, even when it happened, I was like, that was a heck of a catch.
Was there a better play in the game? I mean, did anybody else make a catch relatively close to that?
It was a phenomenal catch. I'll give you that. Okay, well, if you had to pick one for Tennessee, what would you pick?
No, I'm a purist. You said play of the game. I
Okay,
chose the best play of the game.
I got you. I got you. All
If
right.
you're going to force me to be a homer and only choose Tennessee, then I'll go with the speed option. I love the play call in the moment. I love how they isolated the DBs using formation. The poor guy they optioned off of was dead in the water. He had no chance. It was a beautiful play design, perfectly executed. Can't do it any better.
I didn't mention this earlier when we were talking about just our general thoughts and takeaways, but there was a 1st and 25 play that was not a run handoff up the middle. That is totally different. We have not, the last 2 years, Tennessee fans have been so frustrated because every time we got way behind the sticks like that, it was always a handoff up the middle the very next play. And they didn't do it this time.
Well, some of that's Seth Littrell and some of that's Jim Chaney. You got two human beings in the room now who are like, forget that, just chuck it. Somebody's down there somewhere. They may catch it. It'll act like a punt, but throw it on down there. See how far we can go.
Yep.
That's two new voices in the room who are like, we don't concede downs. Chuck that thing.
So I got a couple honorable mentions and then one play of the game. First of all, honorable mention was the Turrentine interception. I mean, that was fantastic play. Fantastic play. Honorable mention, 13 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter. UAB got pressure right up the middle, right in Joey's face. He eluded the sack, rolled to his left, and got a first down to Mike Matthews. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But I do have to say my play of the game was Boo Carter punching the ball out, Caleb Beasley picking it up, keeping his balance, and getting in the end zone. That was a great play by Boo. I mean, it was clear as day. He straight up punched the ball out, caused the fumble. So, got to give credit where credit's due. That was a heck of a play. Some of the comments came through with let's see. Bender String says, does the fact that we are 15th in the conference in total defense concern you, or is it too early? I mean, I get why it would be concerning, but I would also remind everybody that we've played 4 games. In 2 of those games, the whole second half was played by our backups. So, in essence, of the 4 games we've played, one whole game, the equivalent of one of the 4, 25% of our games have been played by backups on defense. Second and third, fourth string guys even. So
at this point in the season, you got to do some really, really deep dive into stats for stats to matter. You've got to look at yards per carry, who's getting it, how are they getting it, how many yards are the team's opponent giving up in other games? Because great example, Mississippi State's 4-0 and their stats look better than ours. They are not better than us. It's not even remotely close. So it's way too early to compare stats on anything.
Well, prime example. Carson Gentle got a lot of playing time yesterday, and I was thrilled for him. Carson's from right here in Chattanooga, where we're from, and he's a redshirt freshman, and he was in almost the whole second half. I was thrilled for him. I loved getting to see him out there. Well, he is a 4th string defensive lineman. Kitna was still in the game late in the 4th quarter for UAB. So they still had starters in the game going against our 4th string on defense. So that's why I'm not like super concerned about it. Mississippi Vol said his play of the game was that option play to Joey's left where Star Thomas took the pitch, took it to the house. David said that Matthews touchdown was beautiful. I thought Mike Matthews had a fantastic game. I really did. He impacted the game. I'll put it that way, because twice, we didn't hit him on either one of them, but twice in the first half there, he was, I think actually on back-to-back plays in the first quarter, he had his dude beat by 2 or 3 steps. I mean, they could not keep up with him, and that impacts the game.
All 3 receivers did. They all ran good routes. They caught balls, that weren't necessarily great throws. I thought all 3 receivers did a really good job.
This is a really cool comment. Oreo Puppy Dog said, Sam Varney, a 90-something-year-old UT player, a running back, was at my house on Saturday at game time, was at UT in the late 50s. That's really cool. That's really cool. Matt said, I just saw myself high-fiving Heupel in a YouTube short. Just send it to everyone I know. That's awesome. I love that. That is awesome. Was that at the Vol Walk or after the game? Let us know, Matt. Rhonda said, if our defense can just keep improving, our offense keeps it up by the end of the season, that defense will show out. Absolutely.
Our defense is playing fine. We just got to get healthy. We just got to get bodies back. Some of our best defenders aren't stepping foot on the field. And it doesn't even have to be like, we don't have – it would be nice to have Jermod McCoy back. But we're okay back there if we could get Jackson Moy and/or David Hobbs back. Like, getting some depth in the interior who can help make Bryson Eason and Dominic Bailey and Tyree West even better because they get a breather just makes everybody better. And David Hobbs and Jackson Moy are difference makers. Like, when you're an offensive lineman and you watch Bryson Eason and Tyree West or Dominic Bailey, whoever, pick any 2 of them, go to the sideline, your initial reaction is, whew, finally a breather. Then you look up and here comes David Hobbs and Jackson Moy, and you're like, well, crap. Like, this just got harder. It's demoralizing. And when we can get those guys back, it makes everybody better. The linebackers are better. The DBs are better. Coverage is easier. Those 2 guys make a huge difference.
Brent, I believe Brent's saying Mike Keith had a great call. If so, I need to go back and find this. Mike apparently said Peyton Lewis choosing the touchdown option. I like that. Deborah said the Boo punch out fumble, scoop and score by Beasley was her play of the game. Mine too, absolutely. Clay said that turn team pick was nice. It sure was. It sure was. Let's see. Jonathan said, I agree, Ruston, that was impressive for the Vols. I would say Joey dropping the ball into Mike Matthews' hands over the shoulder for the touchdown. Gosh, man, the catch. It was the catch that it was so pretty.
All hands.
I mean,
he didn't let it get into his body at all.
And it took him to the sideline. Like, he had to, fade his route a little bit, and he caught it directly over his head. I mean, it was just, that's a tough catch. And he just made it look beautiful. Rhonda said, glad Boo had that punch play. Absolutely. Deborah liked that Matt was in the YouTube short as well. I agree. Nolan said, I love the Star Thomas touchdown run where he jumped over the leg tackle and ran in. Looks more and more like Kamara Light every time I see him. That's fair. So yeah, Jeff, he just said, he said, his play of the game was when Joey broke the tackle, rolled to his left, and fired a dart to Mike Matthews. That was awesome, wasn't it? So right at the start of the second quarter.
I hate to get this far ahead, but think about next year. Okay, Star Thomas graduates. He goes on to the NFL. But we still have Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, and DeJuan Morris a year older and faster and bigger.
Yep.
I mean, they're not going to lose a beat. That room is going to be every bit as good, if not better, because DeJuan Morris might be the shiftiest one of all of them.
Yeah. Dude can stop on a dime. It's
insane. That jump cut, the one run he had That jump cut he made in the middle of a tackle was one of the most incredible things I've seen in a long time. Like,
Yeah, it was
human
pretty
beings
sweet.
don't do that.
It was beautiful. Let's see. Slim said Lance Hurd had a couple nice pancakes. Carl said, I think the Vols are the only team averaging 50-plus points. That's correct. Right now, Tennessee is the only team in the SEC that is averaging more than 50 points per game. Matt said he loved the Mike Matthews touchdown catch in the end zone. Great focus, wonderful touchdown. Absolutely. David said 4 games in, Brazel has 25 catches, 422 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's on pace for a 1,000-yard, 12 to 15 touchdowns All-American season. I think that's a fair assessment. Jeff made a good point. I was saying as far as our defense goes, the backups have played the equivalent of one whole game of our 4 games. And he said in 2 of the other ones, where one of them was against Georgia and a top 3 offense in Syracuse. I mean, that's a great point. Yeah. Carl said Brazel leads in touchdown receptions. Joey leads in touchdown passes. So I saw Joey Aguilar stat from Bill Martin. Bill Martin is the man. If you're not following Bill Martin on X, trust me, you want to go follow Bill Martin. He is the sports information director for Tennessee, and it's incredible some of the stuff he comes up with. I'm gonna read you one of the stats here in a minute. Let's see here. David said I saw Carson Gentle, Okoye, and Lindstrom played a lot in the second half. Yeah, Kellen Lindstrom was out there a whole lot too. You're right. Volcano said, how is Tennessee going to look on the road? Their offense usually does not travel on the road.
I think this is a different team. This bunch plays with a chip on their shoulder, and more so than in the last few years, we have 3 running backs that on any given night, any one of the 3 can absolutely torch you. And so, when you go on the road, let's say you do have an off night and things just aren't connecting, the receivers are dropping balls. We've still got 3 running backs that can go, any of the 3 can go win the game by themselves. Yeah. And that's something we haven't had in a while. I mean, last year Dylan Sampson did a really good job. The other guys were good backups. But we have 3 legit NFL dudes in that backfield right now. And Mississippi State's never seen anything like what we're bringing. Like, those 3 guys, if you took any of those 3 guys, they would be better than every running back that Mississippi State's faced. And we have 3 of them. So it doesn't matter if you come out a little slow, if things are a little off. When you can pound the rock, and when you can pound the rock with 3 guys that we have, you ain't going to have problems.
Matt said, Ruston saying Ruston things. Totally spot on about our D-line starters back. Can't wait. Sam said, Dwan Moore showed amazing elusiveness, really quick feet in the hole. He made some folks grab air. There was a good choice route where the up guy raised his hands to fake the DB off. I believe Orange said, will Boo be on the 2026 roster?
Probably not. I'm not sure that's a bad thing.
John said Ruston has his water again, I see.
It is absolutely water.
He's being for real. It actually is. I have a Sprite Chill, not a sponsor, but could be. These things are amazing. I love them. They're fantastic. Jonathan said one thing about hype is he's going to have at least 3 great running backs every season. I hope so. We didn't last year because we had some young dudes back there, but we got 3 of them now.
We'll have 3 again next year.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Volcano said that Georgia Tech game next year. I know it's too early. You think? Well, yeah. Well, hang on. Let's keep talking about what happened yesterday. Nolan said, I'm excited to see how good our offense is next year because I think we finally built a great O-line. We're finally stacking some serious talent at skill positions. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
David said, I think Van Dorselaer will be a star next year. Hope so.
Well, I mean, you got him back. You got Ethan Davis back. You got Deshaun Brain back. Like,
yeah,
the tight end position is going to be real deep.
Mississippi Vol said he's drinking an A&W cream soda right now. That's what I'm talking about. Jeff said this team is more disciplined than the ones before, and that really helps going on the road for sure.
That's true.
Yes. Very good point. John said, was the sack that Merklinger took yesterday the first sack that the O-line has given up this season? So technically, we have had one before because there was a fumble that we dropped and, fell down on. And technically, that is a negative yardage play.
Yeah.
But, essentially, yes. Essentially, yeah. Rebel Juice said, I watched this game while on the lake fishing. Right after Matthews made that catch, I caught a hefty catfish. I owe him a fish fry. That's what I'm talking about. Carl said, will Chaney quote Jeremy Pruitt? Probably not in a positive way, because those two fellows weren't huge fans of each other when they were on the staff together. Let's see. Yeah, Mississippi Vol is spot on. He said another thing that can help us on road games this year is Joey's maturity and experience. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and Joey played 2 seasons in the Sun Belt, so he's played at schools like Mississippi State for 2 years. That was for all our Starkville fans.
That was pretty good. Sam said, I'm interested to see how our O-line responds to noise of being on the road. This is going to be their first road challenge. Agreed. Absolutely. Matt liked that one too. So last thing for the night. Who was your player of the game? And you guys let us know in the comments who your player of the game was as well.
So I would be curious to be a fly on the wall and know why Boo played the entire game. That was an interesting decision. But I was also very critical of Boo last week. He was awful, and Georgia picked on him and took advantage of him, and he did not respond well. So to walk out there this weekend and get 9 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, including a sack, and 2 forced fumbles, that was a heck of a day. And he did a much better job in coverage. He got lost once. He had a misalignment and he lost his guy, and they completed about a 15-yard pass because of him. He had the muff punt. I get why people get upset about muff punts. I would also say people don't understand how hard catching punts is. And when you're as athletic as Boo is, you're not thinking so much about catching the ball. You're already thinking about how do you make the first guy miss? Because if you can make the first guy miss, you've got an opportunity for a huge return. And so I felt like the one that he muffed, he was already trying to make the first guy miss before he caught the ball.
Oh, and that's you can see that for sure. Yeah.
And that's fixable. That's something they talk about every day in practice. I don't see that happening again. Like he will make sure he catches it from now on. And they can even go so far as to tell him, hey, if we go punt block, you're fair catching no matter what. If we go punt return, then by all means catch it and take off. So I think they can put some guardrails on that to make sure. But I thought overall Boo played really, really well. I thought he responded after a really bad week. And I would be curious to know why he played the whole game. I don't know if that was them saying to him, hey, you got to earn trust back. You're going to go out there and you're going to do everything. But I was very pleasantly surprised to see him respond in a positive way, because we all know he's surrounded by all kinds of craziness. And so it was good to see that. And because of that, he was my player of the game.
So I know this might shock you, but I have some joint players of the game. I have a position group player of the game. Our running backs, I could not give it to them.
Yeah.
And here's why. And this is This may be a silly reason, but I don't think it is. We're 4 games into the season now, correct? Yeah,
Yep.
4 games. Other than one mishandled exchange, our running backs have 0 fumbles so far for the year.
And sometimes the mishandled exchange isn't their fault.
Right. So yesterday, not only did they, I mean, when they had the ball in their hand, they were dominating. That's that that option pitch to Star Thomas, and he made the do miss, got in the end zone. That was beautiful. Not so not only is it a situation where they're making things happen, but they're making things happen and not turning over the football. They're making things happen and protecting the ball. And so you go 4 games and you don't have a fumble, sign me up. Like that. That's why they're my play. Specifically that reason, because they're protecting the ball. Matt said Joey Aguilar was his player of the game. He's going to say Joey Swagular every week until he screws up bad. David said Peyton Lewis was his player of the game. I think that's a great choice. Let's see. Jonathan said our running backs were the players of the game. For defense, he'd say boo, but he has to quit muffing punts. But yesterday was his best game of the year. Let's see. Rebel Juice said, I have no worries about Arkansas. They lost to Memphis. That should be a nice, peaceful late game again. Should be, but Tennessee, Arkansas is always a good game no matter what's going on. Deborah said, Joey, football player of the game. He makes everything go. Absolutely. Tony said, Joey, my player of the game, would have had 3 touchdowns if Matthews catches the dang ball in the end zone. He said, I played tight end. If it hits your hands, catch it. Oriel Puppy Dog, I think this is a great choice. He said DeJuan Morse. I think that's a good choice. Like the kid, he made some noise when he came in the game. Carl said, what's crazy, no sacks against Georgia, but 2 against UAB. Yeah. The starters were in the whole time against Georgia, though, right? Carl said the first half was his play of the game. David said Arion Carter leads the SEC in tackles. Rhonda said, I'm Team Joey. Deborah said, did it surprise anyone that McIntyre didn't get reps yesterday? Yes. It was a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
It was odd.
I Bleed Orange said, Ruston, do you think Mississippi State is a threat?
No.
Well, I would say yes, because they are an SEC team, but they have to play a good game. But do I think Mississippi State's defense can contain our offense? No, I don't think that.
Nor do I think they can score on us. I'm telling you, they have not played anyone. And, they're putting up decent numbers against below average teams. And they have not seen anything like what we have. Not a soul. We have second string defensive linemen that are better than any defensive lineman they've faced to this point. I'm telling you, we're going to walk out there and we're going to dog walk them.
Jeff said, I want to give a shout out to the right tackle Perry for my player of the game.
He played well.
That's a good choice.
I'll tell you, Wendell Moe played really well also.
David said Joey's on pace for 3,500 yards and 35 touchdowns. I want to show everybody the stat that I was referencing earlier from Bill Martin. So I'll share my screen here so everybody can see what it says.
Do you remember when we were at Missouri like 3 years ago, and in the first half, it was like every other play we were popping 50 and 60-yard touchdown runs? We scored like 42 points in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think you're going to see Saturday. you're going to see guys exploding through, popping huge runs the whole first half, and Mississippi State's defense looking around at your shell shock like, why are they so much faster than us? That's what I think you're going to see.
So Bill Martin tweeted this out earlier. It says most passing touchdowns through the first 4 games in Vol football history. The most was in 1993 by Heath Schuler. He had 13. Second most, Joey Aguilar and Peyton Manning are tied at 12 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton's 1997 season, and obviously this year for Joey. And then there are 3 players tied at number 4 with 10 touchdown passes. That's pretty elite company for Joey Aguilar. Pretty elite company. And keep in mind, he really has only played 3 out of those 4 games because he sat out the whole second half in 2 of the games. He did lead 1 touchdown drive yesterday in the second half, but essentially he's only played 3 of the 4 games, and he's tied with Peyton as second most touchdown passes through 4 games in Tennessee football history. That's pretty stout. Some of the other comments that came through. John said if Joey continues at this pace, he'll be a finalist for the Heisman. I mean, I don't think that's far-fetched at all. Don't think that's far-fetched at all. Rebel G said, I don't know if it was talked about, but does Syracuse beating Clemson make our win over Syracuse look stronger? It does. I agree. It does. Oriole Puppy Dog said Manning has the record for 36 touchdowns. I think Joey on pace to tie or break the record. He sure is. David said Arion should be first team All SEC. Matt said my boy is slinging that ball to that stat. Absolutely. Well, we certainly do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Ruston will be live Thursday night at 9:00. I will be I've got my largest job of the year for freelance photography work this week. So I'm going to be working, but Ricky said Joey's the best 1 year Vol since Dalton Connect. I mean that's a fair take right now. I think that's a good comparison. Herb said, "Do you think this is the best O-line in Heupel's era so far?" Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Also, do you think they got to hit the portal for D-line depth next year in experience?
Nope. They have so many guys. They have stockpiled so much talent in that room. I mean, you saw Ethan Utley and Isaiah Campbell play a bunch of snaps. Those are 2 guys next year are going to be a year older, a year bigger, a year faster, and they are big time players. There is so much talent in that D-line room. They'll be just fine.
Marion Dye is a physical
he's a
specimen.
baller.
Yeah. Sam said, love Joey, but the stat of him being tied with Peyton is more about Phil Fulmer being conservative. Matt said, by the way, Evans, hey, appreciate you, Matt. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, man. Well, I certainly hope all of you have a great week. We'll look forward to seeing you all very soon. John said, great show as always. See everyone Thursday. Evan, hope everybody has a great week. Ryan, welcome, buddy. He said, been really impressed with our top 3 wide receivers this year. Exceeded expectations so far. Agreed. Just wish we had a little more depth there. No doubt. Totally agree.
I think it's coming. If Rodarius Jackson hadn't gotten injured, I think you'd be seeing a lot more of him. Travis Smith is going to keep getting better and better, and I think he'll provide some depth.
Nolan said, I don't doubt the fact that we out talent Mississippi State. I'm just worried that a team like Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vandy will upset us. I don't think the Oklahomas or Bamas will get us. It's the little guy. That's fair. We're Tennessee fans. That's what we've become used to, right? Hopefully this team is different. Hopefully. Carl said, great show, fellas. Prayers for the Charlie Kirk family. Absolutely. Sam said, great show, bros. Appreciate you, man. David said, next year, Dye, Hobbs, Utley, Ross. Yeah, I mean, that's stout.
You got Caleb Herring. Tyree West could come back if he wants to.
It's doing the thing.
Yeah. You got Tyree Weathersby. Like, there's some dudes.
Slim said, great show, man. Go Big Orange. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. Rhonda said, hope everything goes well for you, Evan. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. She said, great show, guys. Thank you so much. Using that Go Vols, baby, custom emoji. That's what I'm talking about. Stingray said, great show, bros. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you so much, man. Sam said he thinks the Clemson commit will flip to us. Hope everybody has a great week. I look forward to seeing everybody soon. Matt hit it. He said it right before I did. He said, go Vols, baby. That's exactly right. Deborah said, hope everybody has a great week. Good luck with your photo shoot. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nolan said, another awesome show. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being a channel member. Thank you. Todd said, awesome as always, fellas. Thank you, Todd. Thank you so much, buddy. We hope everybody has a great evening. Go Vols, baby. And we will see all of you very, very soon.